when I started this channel, I started out with a couple of videos that talked about specific 5th edition classes. Actually, I guess one was a 5th edition class, one was a 4th edition class. And I sort of had this idea in my mind that I was going to do a whole series of these and talk about like all the different classes and my opinions on them. I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that. I just don't have strong opinions about a lot of this stuff. But what I do have a strong opinion about is martial multiclassing progression. Let me tell you something about this. So the multiclassing rules in 5th edition specifically call out two kinds of features. One, spellcasting, which it talks about how your slot progression increases, but your spells known / spells prepared are based on your individual classes. So you have this sort of like hybrid stacking of spellcasting. So if you multi-class into another spellcasting class, you can continue to gain slots, but your max level for what spells you can cast are based on your individual classes. So you get to sort of benefit a little bit from multi-classing. You're not completely screwed over in terms of your resources. This is different from how 3rd edition did this, where every single multi-classing class, every single spellcasting class had its own slots. And if you were like, a wizard 3 and a cleric 2, you had all the slots of a 3rd level wizard, which could only be used for your wizard spells, and all the slots of a 2nd level cleric, and which can only cast cleric spells. They were completely separate. It was generally considered a bad idea unless you were going very high and there were some prestige classes that could sort of unite those two. In which case the versatility could slightly outweigh the loss of direct power. In 5th edition, that is not the case. You can very easily get all the power of your main class. So let me tell you what I did. In the campaign that I'm in right now, I am almost entirely wizard. I have 1 level of cleric for the armor proficiency. And then a few like utility cleric spells that are just kind of nice to have. Which means that every other level, there is no penalty for me taking that dip. My max level for wizard spells is the same as it would be if I had straight classed. And I have all the slots of a wizard of my level. So there's no penalty every other level. Obviously, on the alternating levels, I am 1 spell level behind what a straight wizard would have. I was not coughing before I started recording, I'll have you know. So the multi-classing rules are quite friendly to spellcasting. They let you kind of have your cake and eat it too kind of situation where you get the benefits of staying single classed while also gaining the benefits of multi-class to an extent. The other feature that it calls out is extra attack, which it says does not stack at all. Does it count your levels in martial classes to determine when you get your extra attack feature? No. Does it give you anything in compensation for missing out on your 5th level feature? No. Do you get it at character level 5, like with cantrip scaling, which scales off of your character level, not your caster level? No. You get nothing. It's so mean. Like the multi-classing rules hate the extra attack feature. Just everything bad that you could do about it, it does. And as a result, multi-classing weapon-using classes kind of sucks because you kind of have to go 5 levels into one class first before you dip anything into another level or anything into another class in order to get that extra attack, which is quite important. It doubles your at-will damage output, and if you're using a weapon, that's pretty much all you're doing. So, like, missing out on that is a big deal. And then if you hit level 5 in a second weapon using class, you get nothing. It is literally a dead level. You get absolutely nothing. So, my recommendation, and this came up in a thread on Reddit recently. My recommendation is, A, play a better game. B, if you have at least one level in any class that gives extra attack, then your attacks should benefit from extra attack at character level 5, regardless of how many levels you have. Oh, but Sabrak, what happens if you get to level 5 in an extra attack class? Then you don't get anything. Well, no, actually, what you can do, take all the other features from level 6 onward for that class and shift them down one level so that you get them one level earlier. This works out for 2 reasons. And by the way, this does not count for like Rangers and Paladins with your spellcasting. Spellcasting progression stays the same. Because otherwise that does mess up some stuff. Just your actual like listed features. The reason why this is okay, and by the way, I'd take it to an additional step, because cantrips scale at levels 5, 11, and 17. All classes with extra attack, and frankly, I'd give it to rogues too, so all weapon-using classes should also scale your at-will damage at 5, 11, and 17 to keep up with what casters get for free. And the reason why this is okay to do, and why it's not going to cause any problems in a game, why it's not going to mess anything up, is because you aren't casting spells. If you're just doing basic attacks, you are, I mean, like, you're contributing. Like it's, weapon-using classes don't, it's not that they have low damage, they tend to have higher damage, higher single target damage, I should say. If there's more than one enemy, a caster still wins out. But assuming best case scenario for the weapon user, you are attacking a single target. You're probably doing more damage than the casters. But that's all you're doing. The casters are going to win that fight, but you are going to make the fight shorter. That's not a problem. Like, that doesn't, you're not going to go breaking the campaign with some crazy spell, and you're certainly not going to go breaking the campaign with 2 attacks. Like, it is crazy to think that that is problematic. So what I recommend, if you insist on playing 5th edition, is remove the extra attack feature from every class that has it, and scale, and just, at every level, by the way. So I guess the fighter just has 3 fewer levels with class features. Yeah, but no one plays past level 12 anyways. Like, seriously. And if you do happen to play like level 18, 19, or 20, and you have a straight class fighter in there, come up with some really cool features for that fighter. They deserve it. Like, playing that high level with as a non-casting class, like, you've got some absolute patience, and that should be rewarded, I think. But anyways, for standard play, which is levels like 3 through 12, which is like the playable section of levels in 5th edition, just move all the features forward to fill out those levels where you would normally be getting extra attack, and let them have it based on their character level. Let them scale at the same rate that cantrips do, because like they don't have anything else going for them, these weapon using classes. It is commonly said that like fighter and paladin, well, paladin gets their aura at level 6, but like there's, with a few specific outliers, individual features, martial characters and weapon using characters, well, no, not even the weapon using characters, so martial characters, let's say, you know, fighter, rogue, barbarian, and monk, they don't really get anything after level 5 until like level 17, when they get like some epic boon or whatever their capstone ability is. They get very little, like almost nothing. A lot of ribbon features, and a lot of like just little things, like, oh, here's an extra, you know, 1 DPR. You're gonna do this one little extra thing. It doesn't nearly compete with what any spellcaster or even a half caster is putting out there. You know, the ranger is putting down Pass Without Trace, gives +10 to stealth. So basically everyone gets a surprise round. So they're almost, it's not doubling, but it gives like an extra action to everyone in the party, which is huge, because that can just shut down the entire encounter before it even begins. I'm out of dew. And paladins get their aura of protection, which improves saves a lot. That's a really powerful feature, but it is one powerful feature. So anyways, what I'm getting at is that martial class feature progression is just really, really sad in general. And I'm not talking about any specific martial class. All 4 of them are really bad, especially if you want to multi-class. Multi-classing as a martial in 5th edition sucks. It is a terrible idea. There's just no support for it at all. But then again, staying single class as a martial after level 5 also kind of sucks because you stop getting features. And the features that you have don't scale, really. So, those are my recommendations. Multi-classing as a martial in 5th edition is a bad time. And as a DM, you should do what you can to help alleviate that, in my opinion. And I can assure you, it's not going to cause any problems. Like, martial characters are not what breaks campaigns.